What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1985 movie Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. So, this movie takes place quite a few years after the events of Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and in this movie, Tommy Jarvis is going to Pinehurst Halfway House, managed by Dr. Matt Letter and his assistant Pam Roberts, and there he meets a bunch of other people who are at this halfway house as well, and after one of the other kids is killed by one of the other kids, something happens, and a new hockey mask killer shows up on the scene and starts killing all the different people that live in at the halfway house and the neighbors and stuff around the town, and everything. And it's kind of a whodunit and everything. A lot of times you're thinking it might be Tommy doing it, but there's also evidence that it's not him, so it's a whodunit movie, kind of like the first one. I thought this one was just really not very good. I've never been a big fan of this movie and everything. Every time I watch it, I think I like it a little bit less. It just is not very entertaining. It has some fun moments and stuff though, and there are parts that I kind of get a chuckle out of because they're kind of so bad they're good and stuff, but it's always been one of those movies that I've never really cared for. That the MPAA really messed with the kills and stuff. Like, this movie has a really high body count. Like, I think there's 22 deaths in this movie altogether and everything. So, and the movie could have been a lot better if the kills weren't so neutered and stuff because of the MPAA. They just really butchered this movie and everything, and it's unlikely we'll ever get a director's cut or anything. If we did, it probably would make the movie a lot better, but even then, I don't even think I'd still like it a whole lot then. I mean, it'd be cool for the kills, but that'd probably be about it. I don't really like any of the characters in here, really, to be honest, either, and I think that's one of the big weaknesses of this movie. It's not because it doesn't have Jason. I like that they did want to try something different, and Roy doesn't really bother me that bad. I actually think Roy's kind of cool, although his name isn't really scary. It's like, who's going to be scared of some dude named Roy and everything? But none of the characters really stood out to me and were really that memorable. Probably the only one that I thought was kind of cool was Reggie the Reckless, and if we ever did get another movie with Tommy Jarvis, if they wanted to throw him in there for continuity and stuff, that'd be kind of cool, I guess. Because, I mean, Reggie the Reckless was kind of cool, but I didn't really like Pam. I thought she was a pretty dull final girl. She wasn't really absolutely terrible or anything. Melina Kinnaman, who plays her, is just okay. Her performance was fine. It wasn't anything super bad. I remember the last time I watched it, I talked about her performance being really bad, but I don't think it was as bad as I remembered it to be, as it was. And I thought it was fine this time around. It was the way the character was written was more of what it was, and she kind of annoyed me. But I did like it, at least, so that she was really trying hard to take care of Reggie and everything, and Shavar Ross does a pretty good job playing him. And I like that we get to I like Reggie's, I think it's his brother, who's played by what's his name? My mind just totally went blank. The guy from Return of the Living Dead, Miguel Nuez Jr. I really like him quite a bit in here. doesn't have a lot of screen time and everything, but I did like him. His few little scenes were kind of stand out and stuff. And like when he's like them damn enchiladas and he runs to the outhouse and stuff, it just cracks me up the way he delivers that line when he says it. It just, something about it is absolutely hilarious. But I liked him just fine and everything, but most of the other characters were just pretty much there to be killed and weren't really that memorable and stuff. Except for maybe Tina, who's played by Debbie Sue Voorhees, or nowadays known as Deborah Voorhees. She's really fine in the movie and everything. She just doesn't have a lot to do, but I did kind of like her too. But and then you got the other two characters that do kind of stand out in this movie that every time I watch it I remember them, are the hillbilly characters, Ethel and whatever her son's name was. And they're funny at first, but too much of them goes a long way, and after a while they just become annoying and stuff. Like a couple of scenes with them and then they get killed might have worked, but they show them way too much in this movie and they get on my nerves really fast and stuff. It just wasn't really anything the actors did. I just didn't like the characters as much. But they did have some funny moments and stuff, and the dialogue and stuff with them is really bad. It's like Rob Zombie's Halloween dialogue it's like that. Like some of the dialogue in that movie was really bad with the redneck characters, and this one has it too and everything, and they don't really fit into this movie. It's not very great and everything. I do like the whodunit aspect of it though and everything. I do kind of wish that Roy would have wore a different kind of mask though than a hockey mask and everything. It might have made him stand out a little bit better instead of just having a hockey mask with the little blue painting on it instead of red. But at least they did do that much to make you know which one's which and everything. I also noticed on this one, like they really copied Michael Myers with Roy on there. Like he has the jumpsuit like Michael Myers does, and you see him when they're in the barn and stuff at the end of it and stuff, and he's breathing really hard and stuff. I kept saying like this is like what Jason would be like if he was doing impressions of Michael Myers. But I didn't really like his death and everything, and when I saw this movie for the first time as a kid, I was like, this movie was really disappointing and stuff, and especially following part 4, which is one of my favorites in the series and everything, and being followed by part 6, which is also one of my favorites in the first series. This is kind of just wedged in between two of my favorite movies in the franchise and just sticks out as one of the ones that I don't really care for and everything. Probably my favorite part in the entire movie is the little dream sequence opening with Tommy at Jason's grave and stuff. I love that scene, but really, besides that, there's not much else I can say about this movie that I really liked. John Shepherd is easily my least favorite out of the three that play Tommy Jarvis. I just didn't really like his portrayal of him, and I don't know if it's really the actor's fault though. Like I said, I think a lot of that comes down to the writing and stuff, and the way Tommy was written. He did the best he could and stuff, and did play the character the way he was supposed to play him. But out of all three of them, I definitely would say he's my least favorite and everything. I definitely prefer Corey Feldman and Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis, but yeah, so even though I don't think this movie's a complete utter piece of crap like some people might say it is, it definitely is one of my least favorites in the franchise, and to me it's definitely one of those movies that, if we're talking about the big horror franchise and stuff, this would be one of my least favorite installments out of the rank up there with other least favorites like Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, although this one is definitely a little bit better than that one, and maybe like Seed of Chucky, which I think Seed is personally better than this, but yeah, so I'd say I'd give Friday the 13th 5, A New Beginning, probably give it a 4 out of 10. It had some alright kills, and some of the characters were likable. I just wish the ones that I did like, they got killed off too much, or they didn't get enough screen time. So, or they got, I mean, not too much, but they got killed off too fast is what I meant. But it's just, it was okay movie, I guess. But it's definitely not one of my favorites in the franchise and everything. So, but anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.